Breaking news, we have new messages from the 20-year-old who shot at former President Donald Trump at a rally on Saturday. Even 5 days after the shooting, the young man remains an enigma. We don't quite understand what his motive was, but it is becoming more and more clear as we get more pieces of the puzzle, like the messages he sent, his search history, his plans leading up to the assassination attempt. This article reads, photos of politicians, including Biden and Trump, found on shooter's phone, officials say. Authorities discovered pictures of President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump on the would-be assassin's phone, according to 3 U.S. officials. The search history of Matthew Crooks' devices included the date of the Democratic National Convention and Trump events, the sources said. So this supports the theory that this was a lone wolf gunman who was just so disillusioned with all politicians across the aisle that he wanted to take it out on whoever he could. It sort of reminds me of John Hinckley Jr., who shot at President Reagan just to impress Jodie Foster. Nobody quite knows how he got there, but he did it for no real reason, and so far, Matthew Crooks doesn't seem to be some far-left Trump hater. He seems to be someone who just hates all politicians. The officials said that investigators aren't sure what significance the searches hold. In addition to the photos of Trump and Biden, law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation told CNN the shooter's phone also contained pictures of congressional leaders, such as the Democrats' House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson. Again, it seems like he held contempt for politicians across the aisle, but we don't know for sure yet. We'll let the investigation unfold. There were also pictures of others across the political spectrum, including Rudy Giuliani, who is under indictment in Georgia, and Fani Willis, the district attorney who was prosecuting him. Almost all of the pictures appeared to have been downloaded from the internet and were not accompanied by any threatening language or messages regarding those in the pictures. Sources briefed on the investigation tell CNN the phone also showed searches dating back to spring looking for the dates and locations of Donald Trump rallies and for information on the 2 conventions, one taking place in Milwaukee this week, the RNC, and then the DNC taking place in Chicago next month. But it gets even more interesting. Only 5 minutes ago from CNN, would-be assassin posted on gaming site that, quote, July 13th would be my premiere, and that was the date of the rally that he shot at Donald Trump. So he knew that he was going to do this. He planned it, and we know that he planned it because he took off work about a week before. He bought a ladder. He scoped out the events multiple times, so this was planned. The would-be assassin, Matthew Crooks, who shot former President Donald Trump on Saturday, wrote on the popular gaming platform Steam, which I've used before, quote, July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds, a source familiar with the matter told CNN. The source did not elaborate on timing or whether there were other posts. Investigators have been trying to learn more about what Crooks was doing in the days and hours leading up to his attempt to assassinate the former president. Crooks visited the Trump rally location twice. His cell phone contained images of both Trump and President Joe Biden, and the would-be assassin's search history included dates of the DNC and future Trump events, 3 U.S. officials told CNN. But investigators combing through Crooks' physical and digital trail still lack the key detail that would explain why the 20-year-old climbed the roof in Butler, Pennsylvania with an AR-style weapon. A motive. What's the motive? Crooks also conducted searches online about major depression disorder, administration officials told Congress during Wednesday's briefings. There's more to the story, and I'll make sure to keep you guys updated as it comes out. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you appreciate what I do, but I also want to talk about this beef between the Secret Service and Republicans, between the Secret Service and the local law enforcement officers that were on the ground at the rally. The Secret Service has been beefing with a lot of different orgs, so this reads, a group of GOP senators chased U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle across the floor of the RNC on Wednesday night, shouting that she refused to answer questions regarding the attack on former President Donald Trump. The Republicans are acting completely unhinged about this. I was debating with my friend who thinks that Kimberly Cheadle, the U.S. Secret Service Director, somehow planned this because she hates Donald Trump, and it seems like that's where all of Republicans' minds are going. Quote, this was an assassination attempt. You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump answers, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn shouted at Cheadle, who continued to walk with her head down and ignore the senator's criticism. It's stonewalling, said Senator John Barrasso, the number 3 Senate Republican. Blackburn later posted a video of the encounter to X, writing, quote, the American people deserve answers from the Secret Service. So, of course, Marsha Blackburn is just being performative. She wanted this to be captured on video so she could post it after and say, hey, look, I'm a good MAGA Republican. I fall in line. The Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General announced earlier Wednesday that it was investigating the circumstances surrounding Saturday's Saturday's attempted assassination, which it should. And congressional Republicans have also vowed to launch their own investigation, which they shouldn't. That will be a mess. They will politicize it, and they will draw their own narrative that Republicans will eat up. Cheadle told CNN in an interview Saturday that the U.S. Secret Service was, quote, solely responsible for the implementation and execution of security at the site of Saturday's rally. At that particular site, we divided up areas of responsibility, but the Secret Service is totally responsible for the design and implementation of the execution of the site, she told CNN. Secret Service directors subpoenaed to appear before House Oversight Committee. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer yesterday subpoenaed Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle to appear at the committee's hearing on July 22nd on the failed assassination attempt of former President Trump. Comer, a Kentucky Republican, of course, said in the subpoena letter that the Secret Service had initially committed Cheadle would attend, but DHS officials, quote, appear to have intervened and your attendance is now in question. We also have this update. 19 minutes lost. Law enforcement failed to keep sight of Trump shooter. Thomas Matthew Crooks visited the Donald Trump rally location twice. His cell phone contained images of Trump and Biden, and the would-be assassin's search history included dates of the DNC and future Trump events. New details revealed more about what Crooks was doing in the days and hours leading up to his attempt to assassinate the former president. But investigators combing through Crooks' physical and digital trails still lack the key detail that would explain why he did it, a motive. A source told CNN that about 19 minutes before the shooting occurred, law enforcement was trying to locate the shooter, but they could not find him until he was on the roof. Police responded to a call of a, quote, suspicious male around the same time that Trump arrived for his Pennsylvania rally on Saturday, according to Butler Township Manager Tom Knights. Knights said Wednesday that the report placed him near the AGR building, where Trump's would-be assassin ultimately launched the attack. Knights said an officer tried to access the roof with the help of a colleague who tried to hoist him up. The officer scaling the side of the building saw someone on the roof who pointed a rifle at him, Knights said. The officer was in a defenseless position, and there was no way he could engage the actor while holding on the roof edge. The officer let go and fell to the ground. Butler Township immediately communicated the shooter's location, but moments later, the individual commenced firing. So, these officers were trying to climb up and see who it was, and one of them fell back, lost his footing, and within that time, within those few seconds, the shooter turned and fired at Donald Trump. So it was a massive failure on multiple layers, from Secret Service, from local law enforcement officers. It was just 7 different things had to go wrong in a perfect order for this kid to be able to do this, and he got incredibly lucky. The only person more lucky that day was Donald Trump himself, who turned his head at the exact right moment and was able to essentially dodge that bullet as it just grazed his ear. Thankfully, the shooter failed because political violence is abhorrent and that would have set our country in disarray. But Donald Trump is now trying to take full advantage of this. He walks into the RNC with a bandage, and a bunch of people at the RNC are now wearing bandages on their ear in solidarity with them. It's all wild. Trump is fully taking advantage of this. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, and have a great day yourself.